Two legal battles unfolding in Hollywood are raising questions that go far beyond the individual disputes themselves. One centers on Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, whose ongoing courtroom conflict has now reached a critical stage after a judge recently rejected one of Lively's legal requests. The other involves Rebel Wilson, whose dispute with producer Amanda Ghost and billionaire investor Len Blavatnik has drawn renewed attention after discussions surrounding alleged whistleblower activity and a controversial website resurfaced in court filings. At first glance, these situations may appear unrelated, but when legal filings, public statements, and media narratives surrounding both disputes are examined more closely, a pattern begins to emerge, one that touches on how reputations are defended, how narratives are shaped, and how legal battles unfold in an industry where public perception can matter almost as much as courtroom evidence. Why did the judge push back on a request made by Blake Lively's legal team? Why did discussions about a website connected to Rebel Wilson's dispute become part of court arguments? And why do both situations revolve around the same central issue? Who controls the story when powerful figures collide in public legal conflicts? To understand what's happening, we have to start inside the courtroom. The first major development involves a procedural ruling in the legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. During the proceedings, Lively's legal team attempted to challenge statements made publicly by Brian Friedman, the attorney representing Justin Baldoni. The argument presented by Lively's attorneys was straightforward. Comments made to the press about the case could potentially influence how the dispute might be perceived by future jurors. In other words, they suggested that those statements might create an unfair environment before the trial even began. But the judge reviewing the motion was not convinced. In the court's ruling, the judge noted that the statements made by Brian Friedman occurred many months before the projected trial date. Because of that timeline, the court concluded that it was unlikely those comments would significantly prejudice a jury or compromise the fairness of the legal process. As a result, the motion filed by Blake Lively's legal team was denied. At first glance, this might seem like a small procedural detail. However, decisions like this can reveal how a court intends to handle the broader case. Judges are often careful not to allow disputes about media commentary to dominate the legal process. Instead, courts typically focus on the legal elements that determine whether a claim can proceed: evidence, legal standards, and whether the allegations meet the requirements of the law. And that is precisely where the conflict between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni now appears to be headed. Because beyond the debate about public statements lies a more important legal question. Do the allegations and evidence presented by each side actually meet the threshold required for the case to proceed further in court? That determination could shape the entire trajectory of the dispute. But while the legal arguments between Lively and Baldoni continue to unfold, another factor is quietly influencing the narrative surrounding the case. And it involves someone who is not directly a party in the lawsuit, but whose actions outside the courtroom have already started shaping the public narrative. As the legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni continues, observers have also been paying attention to activity outside the courtroom, particularly involving Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, who is married to Blake Lively, recently posted a photograph of the couple on social media accompanied by a song by Pink Floyd titled Time. At first glance, the post appeared to be a nostalgic reflection on their relationship. But some viewers noticed that the specific lyrics chosen in the post carried a message about time, revealing truth and consequences. In high-profile celebrity disputes, moments like this rarely go unnoticed. Public figures often communicate indirectly through symbolism, imagery, or cultural references, especially when they are unable to speak openly about ongoing litigation. It's important to note that social media posts do not constitute legal evidence. However, they can shape how audiences interpret the broader story. And in the case involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, public perception has already become a significant factor. Celebrity legal conflicts rarely remain confined to legal filings. They expand into interviews, commentary, social media reactions, and news coverage, all of which contribute to the narrative environment surrounding the case. This dynamic creates a unique tension. Courts operate on evidence and legal arguments, but the entertainment industry operates on reputation and public perception. When those two worlds collide, the result can be a complicated mix of legal strategy and public messaging. And while the courtroom remains the place where the final legal decisions will be made, the battle over public interpretation often unfolds simultaneously. But the Blake Lively case is not the only dispute raising questions about how narratives are constructed in Hollywood. Another controversy, involving Rebel Wilson, has brought an entirely different set of allegations into the spotlight. Separate from the Blake Lively case, Rebel Wilson has been involved in a dispute connected to a film project that raised allegations involving industry relationships and reputational conflict. Central to that dispute are Amanda Ghost, a producer associated with the project, and Len Blavatnik, a billionaire investor whose business interests extend across the entertainment and music industries. During the conflict, attention turned to a website that briefly appeared online. According to discussions referenced in legal filings, the site contained allegations regarding Amanda Ghost's professional conduct and suggested that individuals within the industry were attempting to expose patterns of behavior they believed warranted scrutiny. The website reportedly existed for only a short period before it was taken offline. However, its existence quickly became a point of dispute between the parties involved. Supporters of Rebel Wilson described the site as a whistleblower platform, arguing that it provided a place for individuals to share information about alleged misconduct. Critics, on the other hand, characterized the site as part of a coordinated effort to damage reputations. These competing interpretations eventually became part of the legal arguments surrounding the dispute. From a legal perspective, this distinction is significant. In defamation cases, courts must determine whether statements made about individuals were false and damaging, or whether they were expressions related to matters of public concern. In some jurisdictions, laws known as anti-SLAPP statutes are designed to protect individuals who speak out about issues that may be considered in the public interest. Those laws are often invoked when disputes involve allegations of wrongdoing connected to powerful individuals or organizations. And that is precisely the type of legal terrain the Rebel Wilson dispute appears to occupy. But the presence of another name in the story adds an additional layer of complexity, because the project involved investment connections linked to Len Blavatnik, whose business interests span multiple sectors of the entertainment industry. When disputes arise in the entertainment industry, they often involve more than just performers or producers. Behind most major projects are complex financial structures involving investors, production companies, and distribution partners. One of the figures frequently referenced in discussions surrounding the Rebel Wilson dispute is Len Blavatnik. Blavatnik is a billionaire investor whose business holdings include media and music companies connected to major entertainment ventures. Investors like Blavatnik typically provide financing for projects through production companies or investment groups. In return, they may receive ownership stakes, distribution rights, or profit participation. When disagreements arise within a project involving these kinds of financial structures, the legal issues can become significantly more complicated. Disputes may involve contractual obligations, financial expectations, creative decisions, and reputational concerns. In the Rebel Wilson situation, references to Amanda Ghost and Len Blavatnik appeared in filings discussing the relationships between the individuals involved in the production. It is important to emphasize that courts have not reached conclusions regarding many of the allegations referenced in the dispute. However, the presence of major investors illustrates how entertainment industry conflicts can expand quickly once they begin affecting broader networks of companies and financial interests. This dynamic often transforms what begins as a dispute between individuals into a much larger legal conflict involving multiple parties. And that expansion can make litigation significantly more complex. But the financial and legal dimensions of these disputes are only part of the story, because public reaction has also become a powerful force shaping how these conflicts are interpreted. As both disputes have continued unfolding, public reaction has played an increasingly visible role. Online discussions surrounding Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Rebel Wilson have generated extensive commentary across social media platforms and entertainment news outlets. In some cases, public support has appeared to shift over time as new developments emerge. This phenomenon is not unusual in celebrity legal disputes. When public figures become involved in litigation, audiences often follow the case closely, forming opinions based on the information available at each stage. But public interpretation can evolve rapidly. New filings, media reports, or courtroom rulings can quickly alter how events are perceived. For celebrities whose careers depend heavily on reputation, This dynamic can create enormous pressure. Film projects, partnerships, and endorsements may all be influenced by how audiences interpret the conflict. However, the legal process itself remains insulated from these shifts in public sentiment. Judges and courts evaluate claims based on legal standards, not social media trends. That distinction is essential to understanding why celebrity legal disputes often feel unpredictable. Public narratives may change quickly, but the legal process moves carefully and deliberately. Evidence must be examined, motions must be considered, and the law must be applied. As a result, it is possible for the public narrative surrounding a case to differ significantly from what ultimately happens in court. And that reality leads to the final question surrounding both disputes. What happens next? Both legal conflicts are now approaching critical stages. In the case involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, the court is continuing to review motions that could determine whether certain claims proceed toward trial. These motions often involve arguments about whether the allegations presented meet the legal standards required for litigation to continue. If a court determines that a claim lacks sufficient legal foundation, it may dismiss that portion of the case before trial. If the claims survive those challenges, the dispute could move forward to additional discovery and potentially a jury trial. Meanwhile, the dispute connected to Rebel Wilson, Amanda Ghost, and Len Blavatnik continues to generate debate about how allegations of misconduct and public statements intersect with defamation law. Cases involving whistleblower claims, reputational disputes, and powerful industry figures often raise complicated legal questions. Courts must balance the protection of individuals' reputations with the protection of speech related to matters of public concern. That balance can be difficult to navigate, particularly when the parties involved are well-known public figures. As the legal process continues, additional documents, rulings, and arguments may provide greater clarity about the facts at the center of both disputes. Until then, much of the conversation surrounding these conflicts will likely continue unfolding in parallel with the legal proceedings themselves. For now, neither the dispute involving Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, nor the controversy connected to Rebel Wilson, Amanda Ghost, and Len Blavatnik has reached a final legal resolution. Courts are still evaluating motions, examining evidence, and determining how the law applies to the claims presented by each side. But the cases already illustrate something significant about modern conflicts within the entertainment industry. When disputes involve high-profile figures, powerful investors, and major production projects, the story rarely remains confined to legal filings. It expands into media coverage, online debate, and industry discussion. Each new development, whether it is a court ruling, a newly surfaced document, or a public statement, has the potential to shift how the story is understood. And because these disputes involve individuals whose careers unfold in the public eye, the stakes surrounding reputation and perception can be enormous. As the legal process moves forward, the most important developments may come from the courtroom itself. But the broader narrative surrounding these cases will likely continue evolving in real time. And until final rulings are reached, the central question remains unresolved. Will the legal process ultimately clarify what happened? Or will the competing narratives surrounding these disputes continue to shape how they are remembered?